Gold, right. It's beautiful, valuable, kind of has this hold on us, you know.
Oh, yeah. It's always been this symbol of wealth and power.
But there's a dark side to it. The lengths people will go to, the risks they'll take to get their hands on it, it's kind of mind-blowing. And that's what we're diving deep into today.
Yeah, we're going to look at illegal gold mining and all the issues surrounding it.
Exactly. We're looking at some excerpts from this news article, and it paints a pretty grim picture, I gotta say.
It's a tough reality to face.
For sure. And we're going to try to understand why people get involved in illegal mining in the first place, what the human cost really is, and how we can even begin to tackle this whole thing.
It's a big one. Lots of different angles to consider.
Okay, so this news article starts off with this tragic event in Stilfontein, South Africa. They pulled 78 bodies out of this abandoned mine shaft. 78 people who died trying to, I don't know, strike it rich. It's heady stuff.
Awful conditions, those illegal mines. Often just death traps, really.
Yeah, the article talks about how these mines are super dangerous, unstable tunnels, risk of collapse. And then there's the lack of ventilation, the toxic gas leaks.
Right, and on top of that, no proper equipment or safety training. It's a recipe for disaster.
It is. And the thing is, a lot of these miners, they're called zamas, which, I learned, means those who try in Zulu. It's kind of a bittersweet name when you think about it.
It's both hopeful and tragic at the same time.
Yeah. Many of them are migrants from neighboring countries like Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Lesotho.
Places where economic opportunities are really limited.
And they're just desperate, right? Looking for a way out of poverty, a way to support their families. And they're willing to risk their lives for it.
It's a global issue, that desperation. Poverty pushes people to take extreme risks.
It does. And this article, it highlights just how big this problem is. They estimate there are like 30,000 people working in these illegal mines across South Africa.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
And they could be producing 10% of the country's gold.
It's a whole underground industry, really. Hidden, but vast.
It is. And then there's the criminal element, which is kind of terrifying. The article talks about this guy, James Neo Tshoaeli. They call him Tiger. He was apparently running the Stilfontein mine, and he sounds brutal.
Yeah, he's accused of some pretty horrific things.
Assault, torture, withholding food from the miners. Some even say he was responsible for deaths down there. It's hard to fathom.
Yeah. Those illegal mines are often controlled by criminal syndicates who just exploit these vulnerable people for profit. They don't care about human life.
And get this, he escaped police custody after being rescued from the mine.
You're kidding?
Nope, slipped away, just gone. Naturally, people were outraged, especially since there were already suspicions of police corruption.
And it makes you wonder, how do you even begin to enforce the law in places like that? Remote, dangerous.
Right. It's a huge challenge. And then, on top of all that, you have the government's response to all this. Operation Vala Umgodi, which translates to plug the hole.
Yeah, they're trying to crack down on illegal mining, but their methods are pretty controversial.
Yeah, the article talks about how they block supplies to the mines, basically trying to force the miners out by starving them out.
It's supposed to protect them from the dangerous conditions, but, it's debatable if that's the actual result.
It is. I mean, some people argue that this tactic might have actually contributed to the tragedy in Stilfontein. You push people to the brink, they might take even bigger risks to survive.
Exactly. It's catch-22, right? Trying to protect people, but potentially putting them in more danger.
So what's the solution? How do we stop this from happening?
That's the million-dollar question. It's a tough one. It's about addressing the root causes, poverty, lack of opportunity, and it's about responsible mining practices, making sure the industry benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Right. Making sure those who are most vulnerable aren't the ones paying the price for our gold. It's something we all need to think about, right? The next time we see a gold necklace, smartphone.
Or even just like gold in those electronics, right?
Yeah. We need to ask where it came from, what the real cost was.
As consumers, we have a voice. We can choose to support companies that are doing things the right way.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot here. This tragic event in Stilfontein, the zamas risking their lives for a chance at a better life, the criminals profiting off their desperation, the government's attempts to fix it.
And the ethical dilemmas that come with all of that.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers. But what we can do, what we should do, is keep asking these tough questions, keep the conversation going.
Yeah, awareness is key. And education, understanding the human cost of the things we buy, the industries we support, it's a first step towards making things better.